Hey there guys, welcome to another video on the Be a Hero Gaming channel where we talk about all things gaming and how you can be a hero in your real lives as well as your games. Today I want to talk about 3 things that I will never do in gaming. And I added one to that in the past couple of days and I'm excited to talk about that. So we're gonna get through the 3 things kind of quick. We'll get to that last thing so I can talk about the 4th thing that I've added to my list of things that I will never do in gaming. So these are kind of just things that I live my gaming hobby by. It's not a really big deal, and I'm sure some of you guys might agree with me or disagree with me and say, hey, that is totally dumb and I would never do that. Great, that's totally up to you to decide how you want to do your gaming hobby. That's excellent, and I'm glad that you're able to put that together for your own self. But in our personal lives, in our real lives, there should be some kind of moral guidance that we have. Something that we live our lives by. Maybe it might be one thing or 3 things or a number of things that we decide that this is how I'm going to live my life all the time, regardless of the situation. So an example might be, I'm never going to lie to somebody. I want to be someone who's trustworthy. I want to tell the truth. I want to have integrity. I want people to feel like they can confide in me and trust me. And so I'm going to live my life in such a way that I always tell the truth. That's just one example. And the cool thing about that is that will seriously make you a hero if you can decide on how you want to live your life morally, and that's how you do it. It's up to each individual person, and wherever that comes from, whether it's from a mantra or a religion or a philosophy or something that has to be a guiding light for you to decide on how you live your life. Now, with games, it's not that big of a deal, and some of these things might change down the road. The 4th thing, I don't think it will change, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But let me just get through these 3 things really quick. So the first thing that I will never do in gaming is, and I know some of you are going to disagree with this, but I will not play a board game that uses an app as part of that. And I know some of you guys are like, wait, what about this game? It's so cool. And one game I keep seeing come up is Paracle. I don't know if you guys have seen that or played that, but it looks really cool. But it's app driven, and I'll play a video game every now and again. I've got a couple of kids that love video games. I just want the 2 to be separate. I want to play video games or I want to play a board game. And so if I'm playing a board game, I want to be handling cards and dice and pieces on the table. And if the game is overly complicated where I have to have an app to even get through it, it's probably not a game I'm interested in playing. So that's the first thing, is that I don't like playing games where I have to have a companion app. I know there's some it's an option, and those games I'll totally play. I just won't use the app. But when I'm playing a board game or a card game, I want to play the game. I want the pieces in my hands. And along with that, another thing is that I don't like playing, this is kind of the same thing with number 1. I don't like playing like Magic Arena. I never even checked that out. Magic Arena, or I know Pokemon cards each come with a card where you can do an electronic deck or something and play on your computer. And I just don't want to do that, because if I'm using cards, I want to play the game. I don't want to play online. If I want to play a video game, I'll go grab the video game and I'll set it up and I'll play it. But I want the 2 to be separate. And I know a lot of people say, well, you can learn how to play on a tabletop simulator and stuff. That's true. And if you want to do that, go ahead. I'm not saying that's bad for you to do that. I'm saying that's just my personal opinion. I don't want to do that. The second thing that I will not do with a board game is if I turn the game around and look at the back at the playtime and it's longer than like 2 hours, I probably am not interested in the game. And I'm looking at you, Twilight Imperium, and I know a lot of people are just gonna go crazy right now, and I've seen so many videos of people saying it's their favorite game and they just love Twilight Imperium. But when I turned that box over and I saw on the back that it said average playtime is 4 to 8 hours, I about passed out. I couldn't believe it. And I thought, this is just not something I'm interested in playing. Now, you might say, what about role-playing games? Or what about campaign games? Yes, those can stretch on far longer than 8 hours. But with those games, I have the option to play for 45 minutes or an hour and then stop. With a role-playing game, you can get through a scenario or an encounter, and then you can stop, and you can pick the game up another day. So that's fine, and I can wait a few days, and I can pick the game back up again. But partially, and this is for a couple of reasons. One, there's just a lot of other things that I want to do that I don't want to spend my entire Saturday playing Twilight Imperium. Number 2, I probably wouldn't survive. My wife would probably murder me if I was playing a game for the entire day. And so I don't want to risk that because my wife is great. And so I want her to stay around. So that's the second thing, is if I flip it over and it's like, this game takes 3 hours to play. I'm like, ugh, do I want to play that? I don't know. And you know what? You guys might look back at some of my videos and say, hey, you have one of those games. And I might. And if maybe I've overlooked that, if that's the case, and I start playing it, realize this takes way too long to play, I'll probably get rid of the game. The third thing is that I will never do in board gaming. I play a lot of games. I have like a million kids running around here, and I love playing games with my kids. I have kids of various ages, high school kids all the way down to elementary kids. And so I love getting the kids at the table and playing a game. And so if there's any game that I feel like is inappropriate for children, I won't play that game. There was one game I looked at that I was really interested in. I turned over on the back and it said 18 plus years old to play the game. And I thought, that's not a game I want to play. I'm not sure why it's 18 plus, but if it is, it's probably not a game I'm interested in. Whether it's because of inappropriate themes, suggestive themes, and again, you guys might say, hey, you have one of those games. And if I do, I don't know about it. And if I start playing a game and realize, ooh, this card has kind of an image on it I don't want my kids to see, I'll probably get rid of the game. There was another game that I almost backed on Kickstarter that looked really cool. I don't even remember what it was called, but you basically were on this board and one person was the killer and they were sneaking around the board and you had these flashlights you could shine to try to see if you could find the killer's footprints. And it looked really cool. Killer, it's a little bit borderline there. But what pushed me over the edge is they said, oh, we just unlocked a new stretch goal where now there's this like satanic worship summoning evil from hell to come out and take over the world. I thought, I don't know if I want my kids playing something like that. So as cool as the game looked, I just thought, that's not for me. So that's the third thing. Now, the fourth thing, okay? And again, you guys might disagree with those three things. You guys might say, hey, those things aren't a big deal to me. Fine, I think that's wonderful. And this kind of goes along with the fourth thing. I am not going to criticize you or ridicule you either in person or online, telling you that what you believe is wrong. Because if that's the code that you've decided to live by for your gaming life, then that's up to you. You get to decide to do that. And it's no sweat off my back, okay? And if you come to my house and want to play a game that I don't want to play, we'll come to terms and figure something out. But if you want to go play your games and do your thing, that's wonderful. Go ahead. The fourth thing that I will never do in gaming is go to Board Game Geek and trust anything that I read on the website. And the reason for that is because in the past couple of days, I put a rating on a game. I've been a longtime user of Board Game Geek. I've had an account there for quite some time. My rating and review was completely legitimate. I wasn't criticizing anybody. I just talked about what I liked about the game. And not only was my rating removed, but my account was disabled, which I didn't even know you could even do. So I thought maybe there was some kind of mistake or something. And so I get back on there. I'm trying to reactivate my password. It wasn't working and wasn't recognizing anything, wasn't sending me an email to renew my password. I thought, well, that's kind of bizarre. So I made a new account, tried to use my same username and said, this username's already been taken. Yeah, because I had it. So I just made a new username, went back and made a very pleasant, uplifting review of a game, and came back this morning and it was gone again. And the thing that I think is really bizarre is, maybe I'll read a couple of these to you here. I'm just kind of scrolling through here on Board Game Geek. None of the negative reviews have been removed. They're all still there, but all the positive the positive reviews are gone. In fact, when I made my rating, I put the game as a 10, and there are 0 10 reviews on this game. None at all. And I am just beside myself to think, I thought that Board Game Geek was a legitimate website that you went to talk about your feelings about a game, to put a rating down, and for other people to come read to see how or whether or not they'd want to buy the game, which I've done several times. I've gone and read some stuff and, this person liked it, this person didn't like it. I didn't realize that, and I don't even know, maybe someone can comment on here and give me some education on this. I don't even know who does this. Is it Board Game Geek that takes it off? Does somebody complain? But the thing that's the most bizarre of all is that I never received an email or a message or anything saying you have violated our terms, your account's been disabled. That I would understand. I never agreed to any terms when I signed up my account. It said it's free, you can just sign up, so I did that. But I never got an email saying that I had done something wrong and that's why my account was disabled. No explanation. And that's kind of a little bit creepy that somebody can just go in there and say, I don't like these reviews, I'm just going to remove them. But all the negative reviews are still there. And so let me just read, and I think the reviews, okay? So I'm running through here looking at some of these negative reviews. And so this one says, a large number of new user accounts all registering around the same time and whose only activity on this site is to give a high rating on this game is a red flag. Well, I had to make a new account because my old one was disabled, which I've had for several years. So that's why I had a new account on there, because my other one was shut down, again, with no explanation, no email saying, hey, you said this word or this sentence, which we don't like, and so that's why we took your review down. It just disappeared, okay? So going through here, scammers, groupies, a generalized concept of a game. That's weird because it's not really a generalized concept of a game. It's actually a legitimate game that I have played several times and really enjoy playing. And so I thought I'd make a review on there. Here's just a whole bunch of one reviews with no comments. One, no comments. Harassing BGG and spam rating. That's your review. That's your review of the game, is harassing BGG and spam rating. Hard pass for me. If it turns out there's actually a game here and not just a pump and dump investment scam, I'll upgrade my rating to a 2 from a 1. Okay, well, I've played the game, so there is a game, but this is this person's review. Hard pass for me if it turns out there's so they're making a review of a game that doesn't exist. That's really weird. Does the game not exist if you just put a review on there? I don't know. Do not buy. Why? Why should I not buy it? No explanation. Do not buy. That's their review. Okay? Seems this is more spam than an actual game. Harassing BGG with spam ratings. There's another 2. There's another 1. Awful product that is an actual blight on the tabletop. And all these reviews are still there. Board Game Geek, they're still there. But these are all legitimate reviews. And something I find bizarre is how this person was saying, oh, it's funny that all of a sudden a whole bunch of good reviews showed up at the same time, which all got taken down. But the whole bunch of bad reviews that all showed up at the same time are still there. Someone explain that to me. Someone explain that to me, how that can happen. Another 1, no explanation. Another 1, no explanation. Dishonest farce that should not be on BGG or be permitted to accept pledges if it's an actual game. All these reviews for a game that's not an actual game. It's a scheme. Ponzi scheme. I am beside myself because in my naive state of just a guy in my basement doing reviews on games, I thought that BGG was a legitimate website to go to get information about games. And it turns out it's not. And so my fourth thing that I will never, ever do again is trust anything that I read on BGG. Board Game Geek simply is not a legitimate website. It's a site where people can make comments and reviews that are doctored up and changed. And another example of this, I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago, Gloomhaven stood at the top of the game list for some time until a bunch of people were upset about that and went in and gave it a bunch of negative ratings. And then, I think it was Brass Birmingham was the other game. They gave that a bunch of positive ratings, and then it went back and forth, and the games kind of switched places, and now Gloomhaven's number 3. So can we trust anything we read on BGG? I kind of don't think so. And I kind of don't think I'm going to go there anymore for information because of the fact that I don't know who's doing this. People, who are these people that are coming in and removing legitimate ratings and leaving these ratings of these angry people, which I'm not sure what they're so angry about. Again, like I talked about earlier in the video, if you have something you like to do in your board game hobby that I don't like, wonderful. If you like graphic, dark games, and I've heard a lot of people say that, I love it when it's super dark, and that's amazing. Go get those games and knock yourself out. That's just not something I'm interested in. But I'm not going to come to you and to the games that you like, that you're giving good ratings to, and bash the ratings of that game because it's something that I don't believe in. I'm just not going to do that. But again, I'm just a guy in my basement reviewing games. What do I know? But there's one thing I do know. I'm not going to trust BGG anymore because, again, they complain about this flood of good ratings that showed up for a legitimate game. Legitimate ratings. People saying, I've played this game and I've had fun with it, and here's what I've found, to people just complaining about something that they don't understand or believe in. That's fine. If you don't believe in it and it's not something you want to be a part of, why are you spending so much time knocking it down? People have even made comments that they've looked on the Discord of this game and filed through some of the things. That's what you're spending your time doing? Is going on the Discord of a game you don't like or don't even think it's a game, and then bashing the game online. I just don't know how that can happen. I don't know how a legitimate game review website can decide what's a legitimate review and what's not. Take down all the reviews that they don't like and leave all the reviews up that they do like. It's kind of scary. And I hope that you guys look to other sources for your information. It doesn't have to be me. You guys might think I'm fake. Awesome. Don't watch my videos then. I'm just putting this out there if anybody wants to check it out. I hope you guys remember, again, the gaming stuff, whatever, but hopefully there's a way or a means in your life that you're deciding on a moral code on how you're going to live your life. And that's going to take place all the time. Regardless of what happens to you, this is the way I live my life. So when you're in a tense situation or a stressful situation or your emotions are running high, you can go back and think, that's not what kind of person I am. This is how I live my life. And you can be a hero in your real life. You guys take care. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you next time.